For most of the time that we had our farm, I worked in D.C., Washington, D.C., and worked a couple of days a week out here at the farm and then a couple of days a week in the city. And worked on a lot of different projects, so I got to know a lot of my colleagues and talked a lot about the farm. And at one point I invited them all to come out to the farm, and I'd say about 12 or 15 folks did for a picnic lunch. And it was a beautiful October day, after we had lunch, first they wanted a tour of the farm. So I said, okay, when we headed up towards the pasture where our biggest buck and most impressive buck, named Pedro, was with the does in estrus. It was breeding season. And I had stopped as we walked up the hill to the pasture to explain to one of my colleagues about our electric fence system. And one of our interns, a very smart, very bright and ambitious, spirited 20-something intern, and her boyfriend had walked up ahead to the pasture. And all of a sudden I heard her scream, "Oh my God, look at the size of his balls! They're huge! How did they get so big?" I walked up, and they were indeed, she was clutching the arm of her boyfriend, and they were both looking at Pedro, whose scrotum was indeed quite massive and pendulous. And so I started into a fairly clinical description of male goats' sexual organs, their evolution and development. And then she screamed again, "Oh my God, he's peeing on himself! And look at the size of his penis! It's 12 inches, maybe more." And I sighed for a minute and said, yeah, it's probably 15 to 18 inches, and he's actually peeing on himself because his urine is very attractive. The smell of his urine is very attractive to the does. At this point, her boyfriend had released himself from her clutches and was heading home. And so I went on saying, male bucks like Pedro can easily handle 25 to 30 does in a day without a problem. She leaned intently on the gate of the pasture and watched him mount one of the does. "Wow," she said. "Wow," she whispered. "I had no idea."